Disclaimer. Not everyone's gonna like this video. Just saying it. Just letting y'all know. But I'm gonna talk about it anyway, because something that I myself want to talk about. If you're new to the channel, you might not know this, but if you watch the videos, you would know it. But anyway, not going to get into that. But but I've never hid this. I've been very open with it. There's videos on the channel about this though. But I'm a Christian. I have been for years. I never try and force it on people. I'll talk about it. I'll have a chat about it. No worries, all good. But I'm not going to try and force my stuff on you. So don't worry about that. But I just want to talk about this little aspect of my faith and my belief and that sort of thing. So yeah, so if you don't like it, sure, there's another video that you could watch. Go and watch that, sure. But you know what, if you want to sit and listen and hear what I have to say about this little matter, why not stick around and you might enjoy it. Maybe. Or you just hate me and just never watch a video I put out again. One or the other, it's up to you. So what I actually want to talk about is prayer. Now, for me, prayer is such a big part of the communication aspect with God. Now, through His Word, He talks to us, He gives us guidance and advice. He can give it to us through His Word and through our experiences in life and all that sort of stuff, and our interpretation of that, right? But we then need to communicate back with God. We need to talk to Him. We need to have that relationship with Him. And it sort of came to me there a few weeks back. I was sitting texting a girl, right? You know the way if you're texting her, or him if you are a female. Yeah, it could be. And you send your messages, right? Then she doesn't reply back. And you're like, why is she not replying back? What's wrong? Why is she not replying? Or he, if it's still the way around. Anyway. And it's just like, okay, that's how we feel in that sort of situation, that sort of environment. They're like, oh, why is she not talking? Why is she not, interacting with the conversation? Why is she not, partaking in it? The sender of the messages, like, alright, let's just put it like this. Me sending messages to people. It's sort of like, yeah, I'm sending stuff out there. Come on, let's have a chat, let's talk, let's build a relationship, a friendship, or whatever, let's have something meaningful. But it's only one-sided. So it got me thinking, because even in my own life, in my own walk with God, there is times where there's massive dips in my prayer life. It's just like, it can get to the point where it's just a routine. It's just a bit like you run through the same motions in prayer, and it can be like that a lot. So it can be like that for a long period of time. But it sort of came to me that throughout the Bible, there's an example being set by men and by people of God that their prayer life was such a key aspect of their relationship with God. Because like in the Old Testament, like the Psalms is a perfect example of this. Like it's just filled with prayer and worship, the communication between man and God, and then in the New Testament, the book of Acts is a great example of this. That in the early first century church, prayer was such a massive pillar stone, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. It was such a massive part of their life with God that they were always doing it. I keep saying in the book of Acts, like, they were praying with one accord. Like, the whole community, the whole early church came together and prayed together on one accord. Like, they were all there for each other, worshiping God, praying to God, having that communication, and they saw amazing things happen. For us now, I say us now, but it's probably been like this for ages. It gets to the point where we sort of like half get distracted with our day-to-day lives, that prayer can take somewhat of a backseat. And going back to the whole texting analogy here, it sort of like came to me because I need to process things in a dummy's sense because I'm not very intelligent. If we look at it as if God's sending us messages, like text messages, through His Word, through the experience of life itself, right? He's sending those text messages out, and He loves us so much that whenever we don't send replies to Him, whenever we're not praying back, like whenever we're not praying and talking to Him and interacting in that two-way street of a relationship with God, that the emotion and the sorrow that He's bound to feel, because His love for us is so much greater than our love for other people. Like for us, like for me, I could be texting someone and they don't text back, and they're sort of like, oh, that sucks. I was enjoying this sort of conversation we're having, I'm enjoying this back and forth. And you get real bummed out about it. But then God is so much more than that. It's so much more amplified than that. That immense emotion that He would feel whenever we don't pray, whenever we don't reply to those text messages, you know, that emotion that He would feel for us would be so immense that it's so hard to try and comprehend. But like, just for me, like this is just lately too, it sort of like dawned on me about the whole texting analogy. If we looked at our prayer life as if it was a series of text messages between us and God, that how many times is there messages just not replied to? How many times is there messages that we just don't bother even opening, you know? And then in turn, how many times have we sent messages that have a great back and forth? You know what I mean? Like I say this as much for myself as, you know, for whoever might be watching this. You know, because sometimes it really does help whenever you actually vocalize things and say it, put it into actual words so you hear it yourself. Get what I'm saying? Maybe. I've been rambling on about this for a long time. Like, there is times in my own prayer life that there's gaps where I'm not replying to messages, where I'm not sending messages to Him. You know, where I'm not having that back and forth conversation with God, and that is a bad thing. It's the first sign of like lack of movement, of being stagnant in a relationship. Because if you're not communicating, you're not understanding each other, you're not listening to one another, you're not making the effort. So by having a strong prayer life with God and having a strong communication, the time that you have means that relationships will be more understanding. You have a better what's the right way to put it? You've got a better engagement, let's say it like that. Like whenever you're actually communicating, that this is a bit more meaningful, if you understand what I'm saying. Well, you're just unpleasant, aren't you? Like right now, I'll be honest, before I got in the bike there was a message on my phone, and like I didn't take the time to reply because I was in a hurry to get to here, to where I'm going. But I know that the person on the other end of that message, they got stuff to do. You know, they got work, they got general day-to-day life to do as well. They're not spending their time just anxiously waiting for my reply, or at least I don't think so anyway, because that doesn't happen. People don't really care that much about what I have to say. But that's the thing, God does. He's just sitting there waiting on us to talk with Him, to have that back and forth, to have that communication that we're necessarily not always doing. Like we get very lax with it from time to time, and I say this as much me as other Christians, but no, it's just a little one that I wanted to share because it's a little thought that came to my noggin that I thought might actually help someone. Like, it's just a little thought that might actually help someone understand their prayer life better. Maybe. Because like me personally, I need sort of like weird wee analogies, you know, just so I can process it in my head a bit more. So maybe this will help someone understand their prayer life and maybe what needs to change in their life to have a stronger prayer life, and that is a lot of life. I use life so many times. But anyway, that's just my wee thought, that's my wee tidbit of the day that I wanted to share. And if you watch this whole thing, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for sticking with me, especially if this is a topic that you're not in any way related to, like, interested in. I really do appreciate it all the same, that you stick with me through this kind of thing. It means a lot. So on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you, and I got a red light here which sucks. I'm pretty sure I finished this last video, the last video in this exact same spot. So I'm gonna love you and leave yous, if I can get my words out correctly. And yeah, because I got stuff to do today. So if you like the video, hit the like button, and if you want to see some more, why not subscribe? And you know what, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this specific matter, so why not leave me a comment down below and let's have a bit of a conversation about it, because I think it's interesting, and I also just like talking to people about this kind of thing. So until then, I will catch y'all later. Bye bye.